I'm here in Jaffna, the capital of the northern province of Sri Lanka, and I have an exclusive interaction which the Chief Minister of the northern province, Justice CV Wigneswaran, has been kind enough to give me for WION. Justice Wigneswaran, it's a pleasure to see you again. You met with India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi at a dinner hosted by President Sirisena last night. What was your impression, sir, of Prime Minister Modi, both anecdotal, personal, and whatever else you can tell us? What did you discuss?
Well, I had no occasion to meet as such and discuss except exchange pleasantries. But I met him earlier when he came to Jaffna, and I have very pleasant memories of him, of the discussions that we had earlier. Went with him to some of our temples and had occasion to open certain housing schemes and all that. But even prior to my meeting him last time, I had occasion to have heard of Prime Minister Modi, even as Chief Minister of Gujarat, from Gujaratis, because when I went to Gujarat, I had heard they had very high opinion of their Chief Minister. So I have found that he is a very good administrator, focused in all what he is doing, and is very disciplined person. As a Hindu, I'm also taken up by his the way in which he lives his life, getting up early in the morning, doing his yoga and so on. So my assessment of him is very, very positive, and I have no doubt he would take India to very great heights, both economically and otherwise.
Sir, Indian governments have so far focused on the ancient religious and ethnic links between our Tamil population and that in Sri Lanka. PM Modi is now focusing on the Buddhist link. Could you comment on that, please, sir?
Well, Buddha is not foreign to the Hindus. He's venerated as an avatar of Vishnu, so we don't feel any sort of any antipathy towards Buddha. Honorable Modi, you will realize, visited northern province. He went with me to the Hindu temples, especially to Naguleswaram, on his last visit. So what is wrong in his visiting Dalada Maligaon on this visit? I do not think there is any shift in Indian policy towards the Tamils. I think mostly this is being made out by people who are interested. In fact, it is good. The goodwill of the Buddhists is very necessary for the resolution of our conflict, and he cannot be seen as partial towards only one section of the people in Sri Lanka. And don't forget, India stood guarantee for the Tamils during the signing of the Indo-Sri Lanka Accord in 1987. So they still have the responsibilities towards us. So I would not say anything wrong in his going to the upcountry, and I don't think there is any shift in the policy of India.
So you refer to the upcountry. Could you tell me a little bit about, or tell our viewers, about a little bit about the relations between the Indian origin upcountry Tamils and Tamils in Jaffna and Batticaloa? What were they like through the years of civil war, sir, and what are they like now?
Well, politically, we do not separate the Indians of recent Indians of recent or Tamil Indians of recent origin from the northeastern Tamils. We look upon not only them but even the Tamil-speaking Muslims as part of the Tamil population in Sri Lanka. Of course, socially there could be differences. That is, there are everywhere. That exists in all societies depending on their station in life, the work they do and other criteria. But the Tamils of recent Indian origin have now become citizens of the northern province since 1977 and onwards, because a lot of them had to leave their areas of residence and to come over here. So they are now part and parcel of the northern and eastern provinces. So, well, I would say that they are our people, and I don't see anything wrong with regard to the yes. And during the Civil War, as you asked, they too suffered a lot. So quite a lot of them were part and parcel of some of the militant movements. So we don't think any different as far as they are concerned now. Yeah.
Sir, PM Modi is getting a hospital, nevertheless, dedicated to the upcountry Tamils in Dikoya, and he'll hold a speech there. Perhaps it's already over by now. Are you concerned, somewhat about this very obvious shift in India's focus away from Jaffna towards, the south? That it may mean that the support is dwindling, in supporting the Sri Lankan Tamil cause, which is essentially for greater autonomy and greater devolution.
Well, we welcome Mr. Honorable Modi gifting a hospital to the upcountry Tamils in Dikoya. I do not think that has anything to do with the dwindling interest in support of our cause. As I said earlier, they stood guarantee on our behalf in 1987, and that responsibility still exists. So it is more so now when reconciliation is forthcoming. And India has to be in a position to be acceptable to all communities of Sri Lanka. And if he could have come earlier to the northern province, what's wrong in his going to the upcountry this time? So I don't think there is any dwindling interest in our, with regard to the Tamils of Sri Lanka.
Honourable Chief Minister Justice Wigneswaran, could you please also enunciate what kind of policies your Northern Provincial Council government and all of Sri Lanka's Tamil population would like New Delhi to have in future to shape its relationship to Colombo but also to Jaffna?
Well, India is our big neighbour. Their economy is thriving now. They need to help their neighbours, and also they have a geopolitical problem of having to deal with the Chinese influence in the Southeast Asian region. So we would expect, as a country which is close to India, to be in a position, if possible, to help us. And we have been having a number of projects which had been earlier drawn up, but during the war that has been given up or not continued. So we like those things to be brought back again, especially with regard to the airport in Palali, the KK's harbour, the Dhanushkodi Talimannar ferry service. These are things which had been there earlier. So it would help, mutually it will help both countries if these things are resuscitated and brought back. That's the nature of help that I expect from India. It will also help the Sri Lankan government. So it is not something that is only specially helpful only to the Tamils of North and East, but also to the entire country. When you have a regional airport or wherever you may want to extend it to, and also having a KK's harbour, then the Mailiti harbour, which is a fisheries harbour, that would be also very useful, because at one stage Mailiti, as a natural fisheries harbour, was able to cater to 1/3 the fishing needs of the entire island. So it will be beneficial both to India and Sri Lanka, and also to the Tamils of North and East. So India would be expected, both by the country as well as the Tamils, to be a helpful big brother.
Sir, a very last add-on question. If you would like to answer, that would be great. You mentioned the word conflict, so I was just curious. The actual conflict got over. You said that you'd like to seek India's help to resolve a conflict. Could you describe what the nature of the conflict is now, sir? Because the civil war that existed lasted 30 years, 120,000 lives were lost, and yes, I'm aware that there is still a divide, a sort of a divide between Colombo and Jaffna. But could you just elaborate on what you mean by the conflict and how India could help there?
See, there is a inbuilt suspicion and hatred that seems to be lying between the north and the south of Sri Lanka. That has been brought about, I dare say, by the politicians. When a federal system of government was asked, early 50s, the Sinhalese leaders painted federalism as separation. In fact, federalism brings people together rather than separate them. So either they did not know or they did not choose to know that federalism is not separation. So we are now trying to bring about a federal constitution simply because we have been discriminated against, and that we should be able to live in dignity with each other, in camaraderie and also within the same country. So we are not asking for any separation. And if the Sinhalese masses can be taught the benefits of power sharing, whatever you may call it, but I would say it has to be, the federal constitution must be brought into the constitution as a word, because our judges are capable of saying, since federalism is not used there, we still are under a unitary constitution and so on. You will realize how the north and east, which were merged, were demerged by our judges. So therefore, if there is a possibility of re-educating the Sinhala masses with regard to the benefits that will come, and if possible, if we could have maximum power sharing in the north and east, I'm sure it's possible for this country to live together in one country.
But what would India's role be there? So how could India help?
That is where India comes in the sense, if India is acceptable to both communities, so India would be in a position, and also India gave us the 13th Amendment. India stood as guarantor for the Tamils, so there is responsibility on the part of India, as well as expectancy on the part of all citizens of Sri Lanka, except the most sort of extreme people, that India could forge such a relationship between the two communities in order to give recognition, dignity, and equality and equity for the people of the north and east region.
Last question, sir. So you must have discussed this with Prime Minister Modi also, informally perhaps over dinner or in some other forum?
No, I had no occasion because I was on the other side of the table and quite far from him. We had no occasion to discuss anything politically. But a few things we did discuss when he came last to India, when he last came to the northern province. Well, he is very careful. He does not share his preferences, but he was a keen listener. That's all I could say.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chief Minister, for this chat. Thank you so much.
Thanks. God bless you.
That was an exclusive interview for WION with the Honourable Chief Minister of the Northern Province of Sri Lanka, Justice CV Wigneswaran. This is Padma Rao in Jaffna.